All right, guys, we are live here Sunday, December 11th, 2022 at 8:01 right on the dot. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Sean and Swiggy, thank you for joining me tonight. How's y'all's weekend been going? Pretty good?
It's all right.
Did Spy Family disappoint you and that's why it's eh?
No, I enjoyed Spy Family very much. I had no problem with Spy Family. It was just it's kind of like the first weekend without college football for the most part. I don't count Army Navy. I know
But Sean, you're a VA. You're supposed to watch it. It's like mandatory for you.
No, I'm not. I mean, it's cool that Army won and all, and it was emotional, and people get into it. But like 58 minutes of that game was like awful. So anyone who tries to tell me otherwise, like if you just said, "Come watch the last like half of the fourth quarter," yeah, sure. Quarterback play, like imagine watching OU football when they play Texas this year. That's Army Navy almost every season. So
yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, it's one of those I always hear. It's on your bucket list to go see one time. It's part of the mandatory tradition stuff. But other than that, it's not a. It is what it is.
I've been part of so much pomp and circumstance Army stuff. So to me, it's like I don't want to do anymore. I've been there. I've done that. Like I was part of a color guard in the Army against my will. Oh, you're 6 foot. You're over 6 feet tall. You're on the color guard. Fuck.
Yeah.
Why can't I be 5'7" for once in my life? So, no, I don't care. It's like I don't have this great attachment to Army Navy like a lot of other people do. So
yeah,
but that's there's nothing wrong with liking it. It's just like, but I served, and it's like a bunch of future butter bar second lieutenants out there bunch of good idea fairies who walk into your unit and make life miserable because they went to West Point.
Oh, you mean the officers? That think they're better.
Yeah, and their shit don't stink apparently. So.
Of course, because they're an officer. Why would they be at
I went to West Point
otherwise?
I went to West Point. Well, Jody fucked your girlfriend while you're at West Point. Just so.
What? Goodness. Swiggy, what about you? How'd your weekend go? Did you play Resident Evil again for the 9th time?
I have not. I've been replaying all the God of War games, but more importantly, you know what? I give England credit for committing to the bit. Lost on penalty kicks when they weren't even a penalty kick situation. Just amazing.
My weekend went pretty well. I had yesterday. I have several international friends from conventions that I've met up with, and I ran a D&D game for them for about 8 to 10 hours online for just as a one shot because they don't get the opportunity to do that. So that was fun. That was my full day essentially for that. So
nice.
But yeah, it was fun. They had a great time. They said I'm a great DM. They said this is something that they absolutely enjoyed. And if they had a group, they'd love to be a part of a group or something like that. So it meant a lot to me because that's what I do normally for conventions and stuff. That's where I just enjoy my type of at the scene at conventions outside of autographs and stuff like that and attending panels. I found that that's my enjoyment for it, and that it's seeing their reactions and seeing their interaction with it. It's fun. But obviously, Sean, you mentioned it that, this is the first weekend without college football. As you said, Army Navy really doesn't count for it. We had very minimal stuff, but it's been about a week since the transfer portal opened. And I wanted y'all's thoughts on what's been going on with the transfer portal as well as just recruiting and stuff just in general for it. I do know for sure, obviously we've had at least officially 2 commits that are coming to OU. We know Jacob Lacey. I think he announced very, very early on, and then as well as the OU son Austin Stogner is coming back from South Carolina. Now I personally did not see anything why he would be back. What was his decision to come back outside that Tebow's not here?
I don't care. He's back. We need guys who can play tight end at OU right now. So I will.
Correct.
We know he can do that, and he will definitely be used a lot more efficiently in Jeff Lebby's offense, in my opinion. So I look forward to seeing Austin Stogner being a big part of the offense next year because he'll have to learn new offense, obviously, but he knows he's going to get the football regardless who's throwing it to him. Or there'd be Jackson Arnold, who at some point may take the job next year, or Dylan Gabriel, who will likely start the season as the quarterback next year.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to have Stogner back. So there's a handful of morons who think, he abandoned us. Why should we welcome him back? And I would like to put all those people on a rocket ship and shoot them into the sun and never have to see them again or hear their really stupid takes.
You're not wrong. Those are pretty bad takes with it. But
like the fact that I have to explain to someone who's like, oh, so we're mad that Caleb left and but we're welcoming back Stogner. The fact that I have to explain this to you, why this is a terrible take,
correct.
Just
goes. Tell me you know nothing about football without telling me you know nothing about.
It's not even about football. It's about the circumstances and why he left and what he did at the program. And there's no one was mad that Stogner left.
No.
Most people got why he left.
Correct. Like him and Radler left because of Tebow. Like it's not a secret. Like they did not.
Well, no,
like
but okay, but even they had different reasons. Obviously, Radler lost his job, so that no one got mad that Radler left. He lost his job. No one, but Stogner had, the staph infection and everything, so he went through that. He had a rough patch there, and then also he had to deal with the coaching staff and dealing with all that shit. Now, a lot of that shit is gone now, and he's more now. Why would he leave South Carolina to come back here? I don't know. You should ask him that. Maybe he wanted to come back. He has some, like Joe John Finley said, "Hey man, why don't you come on back?" And he convinced him to come on back.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I'm sure he'll talk to somebody at some point that went to the decision why he decided to come on back.
Yeah,
I don't care. I honestly don't care if the reason is, well, they have candy machines on certain corners of the campus, and South Carolina doesn't. That's my favorite. I don't care if it's that stupid of a reason. I'm glad he's back. So,
me too. Like my only issue I always had with Gardner was sometimes like he needed more catching drills. It always seemed like he would drop like one or two balls that were kind of, I'm not gonna say critical, but we really need him to catch.
I remembered him making big catches and big moments, so I'm happy he's here. So.
And I hope that with his time over at South Carolina that issue's fixed, because the rest of it, he was a big body when we needed him to. He's big, like he made some of those big catches, like you said. Yeah. But I hope that's resolved.
I like Brayden Willis, but he unfortunately was not he's not Stogner, so I'll just leave it at that.
Absolutely, and it's going to open up our tight end game again. At this point with it again,
when we need Jace, we need guys like Jace McClellan to Wait, Jace McClellan, what am I saying? No, who's a guy? Totally just blanked on them. Who our other tight ends are? That's how much we haven't seen them. So
yeah, they've been.
I had running backs on the brain for some reason, but
yeah,
Jace McClellan. What the hell am I saying?
You're thinking Josh McClellan or something like that, or
no. He's got one of them names. It's just we haven't seen him play much this year. So
well,
I think he's played on special teams. But
right. I mean, the only other one that we're aware of that potentially maybe OU locked in was that edge out of Indiana. Apparently, like stuff has been
no. So two brothers.
Right.
Two brothers. It's not just one. Two brothers.
Right. That's what's
right.
That's the thing that's been going around. Is it's both of them. It's
two brothers.
We got
that's
him,
when
and
things get really. You better bet your bottom dollar. It's like I posted that today, and like there was one person that went, "Huh?" And I'm like, "That's exactly what I want you to go." Yeah, Jason Llewellyn. That's what I was trying to think of. Thank you. All right, you're out.
Had no impact on this year, but that's the thing, and that's what I wanted to ask y'all. And it's maybe
my damn head, whatever, dude.
Mine is, and maybe I'm being a snob about it, and feel free to tell me I'm being a snob about it. Sometimes, and I don't claim to know enough about recruiting or the transfer portal, nearly as enough as you, Sean. You are on point with the transfer portal. You know all about it.
Am I? I'm just like. I just get on the internet every day and say, "Do we get anybody? No. All right. See you later."
Well, you keep up.
That's what I do.
Compared to me, well, I can't speak for Andrew, but compared to me, you know a little bit more about probably the reasons why they're going. So here's my question.
Not really, honestly.
But I'm going to use him as an example.
I have no idea why Mr. McCullough has decided to leave Indiana, other than the fact that he just really likes the color scheme, and so he can just come to OU. And
I mean, he's only trading red for red, so.
So
no, it's one's cream and crimson, the other's crimson and cream. So literally the same colors. It's literally the same color scheme, but
exactly.
I mean, people. I don't know. It's why does anyone do anything? That's if you're really asking about the transfer portal. People have the opportunity.
He wants to come play for Brent or whatever. Yeah. That's fine. But no,
right. But here's my question for you though: is it sometimes where you just question like, why are you making this move type of deal with it? Because it seems like it's a true step down. And what I'm referring to is, and first off, I want to say, hey, I wish you luck wherever you go. Like, regardless, it's their decision. But I'm struggling with Theo Weiss's decision to go to Missouri.
Well, let's get back to McCullough, guys. So
okay,
something like everything kind of lined up where when Cincinnati, Luke Fickell left Cincinnati, and all of a sudden like his younger brother, who's committed to 4-star safety, committed to Cincinnati. They start recruiting him. They start talking to him before Luke Fickell left. So it's like they got ahead of the curve, and it's probably a simple situation. He liked to play with his brother, and I don't know if he would have transferred to Cincinnati if that's what he was planning to do, but it's like Oklahoma's going after him, and he looks at Oklahoma. It's like, it's a situation. It's a cool thing for guys. Like, hey, it's like hey, let's play together. And they're only a year apart, and they're both highly like Dasan. I think it's Dasan. He's the older brother who's he's like a top 100 player, like edge rusher. So please come on over. And be part of it. And he had a great freshman year at Indiana. So I mean, you go watch film of like the Michigan-Indiana game this year. I mean, Indiana took him to the end there almost. So at least I think it was Indiana. Pretty sure it was Indiana. Like Michigan had a couple of like close calls this year, like a lot of teams did that are in the playoff. But
it's what you said is they danced around with the devil in the pale moonlight.
Well, that's college football. Yeah. Everyone has it. Like every good team has a game like that. Like even Georgia. So.
Yeah,
Missouri
and being Georgia
and Kentucky to an extent. That's why I try not to freak out if Oklahoma struggles against anybody ever. Oh my God, we suck.
Well, we had that in our national championship year in 2000. We struggled against Texas A&M and we struggled against Oklahoma.
But Texas A&M is good. Texas A&M was good. I mean, they were kind of good. They were
middle.
It was the old school Big 12 was the best conference in college football era. So no one went, oh no, I can't believe Oklahoma's struggling at College Station when A&M was a decent team in the 90s. But I don't know, just that's kind of like the next everyone was expecting something to pop. There's been a lot, like everyone who's been following this is like like, so if it doesn't happen tonight, which it's probably not going to, it's going to happen like soon. So like tomorrow would be great. That'd be fantastic. A lot of stuff's probably going to start getting rolling this week because this is kind of the last week you can do stuff for recruiting for the most part, because signing day is a week from Wednesday. In case anyone
that's what I was going to ask you was, it seems it's been almost like everybody's entered the portal, but it's been relatively quiet. And I was going to ask you, are you worried? But when you say there's another week,
we've had a few things.
Hey, let's get.
Yeah, but the portal's still going to be open after National.
Yeah, we've had a few things in the last couple of hours. Trayshawn Holden went to Oregon.
Yeah. What's his name?
That big.
Trey Ore. He announced his stuff to the transfer portal as well. From I think it's Arkansas. No, I don't know. It's from some state. I don't know what team he plays for, but he announced it, and he was like the number one.
It's one of the 50 states. You'll get it eventually.
Oh, you know. But that all being said with it, I mean, I was just curious on because I know we're targeting guys. I know we've asked guys. I don't know what's all official for it because I know a lot of that's behind paywall stuff. But the ones we knew about was like Jacob Lacey, Stogner, and then the brothers at this point. And we're still waiting on two brothers. And we're still waiting on the Bowen brothers at this point.
Another pair of two brothers. See, I'll just post that again. Did they ever do a second Two Brothers gag?
I don't think so.
I don't think they
can't
did.
remember one
No, they
now.
did they did something else. It was the whole interdimensional cable episode stuff,
yeah,
or whatever. But I don't know. If there's another Two Brothers, I gotta go find it. I don't know. Peyton Bowen is like, it's still gonna happen. It's just so. In case you don't know, Denton Geyer played in the state semis yesterday and lost in the fourth quarter to DeSoto. So good run for Jackson Arnold and everything. Came up a little short. Now I know they lost, but in 6A Texas football Division
That's
2.
fantastic.
So big boy, you're still, because you got Wisner at running back on the other end, and you also got Jonte Cook is a douchebag who's going to go to Texas at wide receiver for DeSoto. So you have big boy blue chip prospects in that game. Arch Manning, meanwhile, lost early in his private school 2-3A level Louisiana garbage. So yeah, but yeah, Jackson Arnold sucks apparently, or is not as good as him. So nice little play there by the pregnant puncher Tyreek Hill. Good play there.
That's about right.
Yeah. So I got distracted.
But no, I did want to.
I'm on drugs.
Good drugs, right?
Yeah, yes. I'm on happy pills. So
nice. Here's my question though. I want to go back to the Theo Weiss one. I don't understand on some of it where it's like, I don't expect Theo Weiss. I feel like this is a step down for him to go to Missouri. What playing time is he expecting there?
I don't care. He's gone.
Yeah.
I'm not losing sleep over Theo Weiss leaving.
I don't want to think that.
I don't hate Theo Weiss or anything. It's just that I'm not good. Like, he had a great game against Texas Tech. All right. I mean, like, Marcus Major had great games in the bowls and hasn't done shit since. And which means if Marcus Major plays in Orlando in a couple weeks and has a great game, it's like, it's like, who is that? Like he like Marcus Major is turning into like Quentin Chaney. You know Quentin Chaney? Like Quentin Chaney would always he played those Fiesta Bowls like back-to-back years in the mid-aughts where Quentin Chaney had great games. Like no one else did, which is the reason we lost some of those games. Was no one else but Quentin Chaney made plays, it seems. Like, why the fuck is Quentin Chaney the only guy making plays? And it's just like, that's what it feels like, but at times it's like, Quentin Chaney in the Fiesta Bowl, even though we lost. Great game. Look at his numbers. But
Anyway, anyone can have a few good games.
Name, you Casanova Frankenstein bitch. I remember that name. So
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, I'm looking at the comment section. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah. So, but no, it was the same thing. No different than. Do y'all even remember when the guys that transferred out last year outside of Caleb and Spencer and Hazelwood and Stogner, did they actually impact anywhere?
Well, you listed a bunch of names there, so
I mean I listed the four big ones on the team, but everybody else who transferred.
I'm sure Hazelwood did Hazelwood do anything in Arkansas?
He was the number 10 best wide receiver in depending on how you look at it. He was the number 10 overall wide receiver in the SEC. I don't know where that is on Arkansas. Now, he caught a lot, but he didn't score.
I mean, he was all right.
That's probably why I didn't hear his name that much. So I just didn't hear his name at all last year.
He was all right.
I forgot Hazelwood even existed.
I mean, one guy who left won the Heisman, I guess. So I guess that's good.
In an off year, he did. So
the two greatest words in the English language: default.
Yeah, that's basically. So what's funny, like based on how the votes went, and people started posting all their public votes on Twitter because they could, and then you see the numbers. It's like what it tells me: if TCU had won the Big 12 championship, Max Duggan wins the Heisman. Basically,
it felt like they had to pick.
It's like, but he didn't win, and it's just. Well, I guess we'll give it to the. Who we think, like a lot of people put Max Duggan second. So that's like, they really wanted to give it to him, but it's like, I can't do it. So he won. And I'm not even mad that Caleb won because I knew that was coming. It's like he's gonna win. He's gonna get a pity Heisman. But I think the most egregious thing from last night, because like I was about to turn it off, but I kept it
Was
on
his
back.
speech?
No, I didn't even watch his speech. I don't give a fuck about the speech. It's like I can't even watch that. It's just despicable. No, what was really offensive to me was the laziness from ESPN. I couldn't believe my ears how fucking stupid these people are.
Oh,
When
no.
I mean, let me say, so like when they're about to they're doing one more highlight package for Caleb before they go to commercial break and come back and do the big final, ceremony stuff. They're doing highlights, they put together highlight packages, and you see Caleb Williams highlight in a USC uniform, and you hear Toby Rowland doing a play call. It's a Caleb Williams touchdown. I'm like, excuse me?
That was record scratch. Yeah, like Toby was even like pissed off.
You couldn't pick your ESPN cohorts, or you couldn't you couldn't tell the difference between him and the USC play-by-play guy. I'm pretty sure they sound different. Toby's got a distinct voice and a cadence and the way he punctuates things.
Yeah.
I couldn't fucking believe it. It was like, you can't even match up the correct. See, I've done this before. I have taken highlights and I have taken moments where I have mixed and matched. Like when I did, for a good example, I did a Heisman tribute video for Oklahoma a couple years ago when Kyler Murray won. I took a bunch of highlights and I had some, commentary, but it was from they were national guys for the most part, ESPN, and they were calling games for those players, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I've done that before, but not to that extent. It's just, so I know what it's like to edit video and mix and match and mix audio and all that shit. They did it intentionally. It is such a slap in the face. It is like, to me, it's like, okay, he won. You want to give it to him, fine. And USC is already claiming most Heismans ever. There should be an asterisk next to that because Reggie Bush seems to have misplaced his. Oh, and you know what's also funny about that shit? Bush isn't even the most offensive one. It's like, who's the other one? Who's the other one that you guys don't want to talk about too much? Alleged double murderer. So
Reggie should never give back his Heisman. He should.
Go ahead.
Well, I wish he lost his Heisman. Didn't Ron Goldman want to destroy, or didn't like the Goldman family wanted to destroy it or something? I mean, this is didn't they break it or destroy it or something?
Probably.
I want video of that. If they've made video of like breaking his Heisman, that's just so petty and great. It's like you murdered my son, so I'm gonna murder your Heisman. I mean, it's fair, I guess.
It is. I mean, it is what it is for it. Like, they get so many of them, like replicas. They're gonna out of it. It is what it is.
But still, Reggie. I still say Reggie Bush should never give it up.
Pretty sure none of our Heisman winners are double murderers. Allegedly.
Let the Heisman committee come in SWAT style and try and take it away from him. But whatever. Whatever. That's so dumb.
I'll do this. I'll do this one. I'll make you a deal. Reggie gets his Heisman back if you denounce O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
I think, Joe Biden made a trade this past week. I say we make a trade with the Heisman Trust.
That's fair.
Joe Biden made a trade. Some people weren't happy about it. Not everyone got what they wanted at the end of the whole deal. But you know what? A deal was made. So I said we do the same thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, and remember last year too when they introduced Tebow at USC, they were already saying, and he led the two Heismans, and like USC was claiming Kyler and Baker's as a part of their own at that point.
Oh yes,
the most disgusting graphic is like showing the Lincoln Riley graphic with with Baker and Kyler in OU uniforms and Caleb in USC uniform. Oh, I want to throw up.
Yeah,
so disgusting, so awful.
That's bad.
I mean, it's just been a shitty year altogether. It's just been like the worst football season in like a long, long time. Like we've had some bad off seasons where it's like, oh, lost the national championship, but at least we were in the national championship.
Yeah.
But it's like, fuck, man, it's just a kick to the nuts overall. But like the one thing I laughed at my ass off is like, well, I'm up here and you three are going to the playoffs, so well, I guess you can't win them all. I guess referring to him, I guess. So, but yeah,
I mean, it's true. I mean, for the thing that means something. I mean, the Heisman means something, but they won't be playing for the Natties.
Oh yeah, if USC got it, it would have been horrible. But at least I got that.
Yeah. Their consolation prize that really doesn't mean anything because there was nothing they did this year. They won more games and that was it.
And they, and I feel without playing Oregon and Washington, I know I brought that up a lot, but like USC's schedule is like perfect for them to get into the playoff this year, and it just didn't happen because of Utah.
No, it didn't happen because of Tebow and him giving up after the second quarter, as this is the way, as per tradition.
Where he scripts his entire for like opening, quarter, then he has to like scramble and drop plays in the dirt and then make the big comeback and so
correct. Well, and it and you brought it up, so I know what you were going to say on it. The thing is, Reggie Bush, even if we looked at it with the NIL and stuff, he still wouldn't get it back today. Like he would still be.
He should.
Huh? No.
He should get. He should get it back. His only crime was.
Oh, fuck him. Fuck Reggie Bush.
No.
His only crime was getting. His only crime was getting.
Fuck him and fuck Matt Leinart and his poofy fucking hair. Fuck Matt Leinart.
Dumbass.
Fuck Matt Leinart. Fuck him.
100% believe Leinart did worse things than Reggie Bush, but whatever.
Fucking, and you want to talk about travesties? I don't care how the fucking game ended up. Like fucking Adrian Peterson would have won the fucking Heisman Trophy if there wasn't some bullshit Neanderthalic mindset. Oh, we can't give it to a freshman. But yeah, you got rid of that shit with Johnny Manziel in 2012, even though he was a redshirt. Like Adrian Peterson as a true freshman, there was like two guys in the entire history of the sport that were like, maybe even I'll even throw Dupree in there. It's like Peterson, Marcus Dupree, and like Herschel Walker. Yeah. Maybe Bo Jackson to an extent, but like, geez, like guys who were ready. Like there's like a small handful of guys who are out of high school could play pro football. Like, and Adrian Peterson is one of those people. So it's just, again, like, oh, we can't give it to a freshman. Like, bullshit. Like, I can point to the games where he kind of lost it in a sense, because he had that streak of like the true freshman of like like 7 or 8 straight games with like 100 yards rushing.
Yeah,
like
he was a monster.
He broke Bo James' record. Keith Jackson made that call because he had the big 80-yard run against Oklahoma State. He had like he hurt his shoulder against A&M. And then he played sparingly in a home game against Nebraska where he had like 57 yards, but Nebraska was just bad in what a shock. Nebraska was bad 2004, and just Jason White just took care of business. And Jason White took away votes too, because he was the defending Heisman Trophy winner. So it was just, if Paul Thompson was the quarterback, I mean, we may not be like undefeated playing for a BCS championship that year, but let's just say he would have had the cast around him to make plays. Let's leave it at that. And then Peterson did what he needed to do. Then all those Jason White votes go to Adrian Peterson more than likely. So,
you're not wrong. I mean, that's what happened in the 50th one with McDonald. That's the only reason why he didn't win was because they split votes.
Yeah,
it's true.
Tom McDonald like robbed of a Heisman from a freaking 2-win Notre Dame team.
Yeah,
but anyway, the Heisman's over. SC has the most double murderers, most Heismans and most double murderers on their,
and most vacated. Don't forget that.
Yes, vacated and double murderer, allegedly. He did hold someone hostage in a Vegas hotel room and spent some time in jail. So
who hasn't?
I know, right? Past times, but no, it's just funny because it's just I laughed at the Heisman last night because it was just he was awarded it, and everyone's like, okay.
I watched the last couple minutes just to hear the announcement, and then Spurrier was great. I will give Spurrier, because like I'll give you the honors because that Spurrier pretends he's gonna go on for another 5 minutes, and like that was actually really funny. So God bless Spurrier. Once I heard the name, once I heard his name announced, I went click and I loaded up Netflix and I binge watch Wednesday. So
how was Wednesday?
I like Wednesday. I finished the last 2 this morning. I literally watched. I was up late last night. I watched like 6 episodes.
Good.
So the highest was over at 10. I binged 6 episodes. I was up pretty late.
I've been working my way through Andor.
I have no interest. I have no interest in Star Wars.
So
that's fair.
So as someone whose interest in Star Wars was super, super low, it's really good. I'm like
God
6. I'm like 6, 7 episodes in.
God, how much
12.
fucking Andor am I?
I highly recommend it.
That's in between, like that's after the original trilogy and before the new one, right?
That's so it's
after the prequels.
It takes place between 3 and 4. It's about Cassian Andor, the guy who was in Rogue One.
Fucking Rogue One. I hate that movie.
Really? Oh, I love that movie.
I hate Rogue One. It's so fucking boring.
It's basically how he joined the rebellion. It's way more interesting than Rogue One. Now, mind you,
I got some dust balls under my bed that are more interesting than Rogue One. God,
the last 30 minutes of Rogue One was good. The rest of Rogue One,
that Rogue One fucking sucks.
Rogue
One fucking sucks.
He is more right than wrong.
Old school style of setting up for the rest of the movie.
No,
it's like The Godfather, because The Godfather does that.
No, fuck that. Rogue One is just no one has a goddamn real personality. Paper thin 2D characters, every single one of them. They suck, all of them. They're all boring.
The good news is he's much more interesting in his own series. It's actually a pretty sick series so far. And the best part, it's not filled with pointless Easter eggs. So
bunch of wannabe anime bullshit is what Rogue One was. It's exactly what it was.
But it's one of you that actually has space battle. Like,
I don't care. Like space battle. No. Like fuck that.
It doesn't focus on the Skywalker family drama.
That's not the point.
Who cares? It's still boring.
It's still boring.
I don't think it's boring at all.
I fucking hate that movie.
The first 90 minutes is really boring.
I tend to hate most Star Wars stuff nowadays. You got to be special like the Mandalorian to get my attention.
Scarif was
which is coming out next year.
Well, no, but the Mandalorian had they got it right because it gave you.
It wasn't Star Wars.
Well, no, it was Star Wars. It had personality to it. It felt like Star Wars.
I will say it's probably my favorite Star Wars thing since The Mandalorian. So
it was fucking Lone Wolf and Cub. It was Star Wars Lone Wolf and Cub. Nobody knows what that is, but whatever. I'm a fucking Dark Horse comic reader. Lone Wolf and Cub, like it's like literally like ancient Japanese samurai like pushing around his baby son in a stroller that has like death knives that shoot out of it or hidden weapons. It's awesome. So anyway, that's your read Lone Wolf and Cub. It's great. Kazuo Koike, like that dude's awesome.
I still like Rogue One. You can convince me of that.
I mean, if you like it, good for you. I just think it's boring.
Anyway, nerd alert. So, anyway, watch Wednesday. It's good. People like it. I liked it. Okay.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I don't know if I care. I don't give a shit if there's another one, but I enjoyed it. So I thought it was fun. So I like that. I like that Christine. I love that Christine Ricci played a character in the show. So.
Oh, rad.
So it's like, oh look, there's the Wednesday everybody wants to see, but she's old now.
Sean, while it's on my mind, football related, is there any new recruiting info?
Two brothers.
Outside of two brothers.
Two brothers. No, that's all I'm hearing is two brothers right now.
It's been rather really quiet on recruiting stuff as well.
You're telling me I've been waiting for
haven't got any.
Like honestly,
outside
of Austin Stogner popping with the news, there's been nothing to talk about, and I've just taken advantage of like I'm not going to stress out about making videos right now if I don't have to. I'm taking a little bit of a half vacation until I was like, I'm not going to force myself to make content right now. I should, but to an extent. But I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna. If something pops, I'll be there. I'll do videos. But I mean, recruiting right now.
I mean, I figured since you haven't made a video, nothing's happened.
No,
Like,
nothing's
it's been
really
rather boring.
happening. No, nothing is really happening. I mean, it'd be great if we could get the Dante Cephas kid from Kent State, the wide receiver. That'd be cool. There's a lot of names in the portal that are just out there that
Well,
it
we're
would
already
be
at
real. It would be cool to get them, but
Yeah.
there's no guarantee we're going to get them. So it's like, I don't know. It's like I don't. It's like I could talk about a lot of guys in the port that are going to be in the portal that I would like to have. I would love to have. I would love to have Trace Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Like if Trace Ford is in the portal, by all means, if you don't have an issue flipping from Oklahoma State to Oklahoma and coming to play here, great. Let's do it.
See, I heard that he may have interest in that, but his mom doesn't want him to go to OU.
Fuck his mom. His mom not paying the bills.
It's true.
His mom gonna give him NIL money? Fuck no, you're not.
Oh man, speaking of that, but
speaking of
that,
Pokemon.
Speaking of that though, Sean and Andrew, did you see how much shit the Pokes were talking to us last year, and all of a sudden their team's gutted. Like they're scrambling themselves, and Mr. Mike Gundy here going, well, we don't need to do the transfer portal. Bro, you better do the transfer portal or there's not going to be a team next year.
Oh, they were dancing on our graves last year, and it was
like, and yeah, karma sucks, doesn't it, guys? Monkey paw curled.
Yeah,
we want to beat OU. Okay.
I mean, I hope they enjoy being a G5 team in about 5 years when the Big 12 is a giant G5 conference, basically.
Also, when
I mean, you'll get in the. I mean, your champion will likely get in the playoff, but it's cute and all. But I can't wait to watch your TV money dry up when your big brother's not there to anchor it.
Yeah, and yeah, but it's just it made me think on it too, and I don't know why Spencer Sanders left. I have a lot of suspicions that he left because he doesn't want to get injured again. He realizes this team's gonna suck. I'm curious why he's wanting to go to Penn State out of all places, but I was thinking, why didn't he declare for the NFL draft?
Why is he going to Penn State's got a 5-star quarterback? They're they're getting ready to play. Like they have a 5. Like I don't know why you're going to Penn State. So it's like
that's why I'm curious on is
why would we need a quarterback in a sense, but we're not going to get anyone worth a damn because Jackson Arnold's coming in. Like,
right. Thank God that Evers is gone, so we don't have to hear it anymore.
Oh no, haven't you heard? Like he wasn't given a chance, so therefore he would have been good just because we just put him out there to hand off the football to get reps to hand off the football. What are you?
He was given chance. Like people are still convinced to this day that he would have changed stuff around. Guys, he was not changing stuff around. If he would have been the star.
Jackson Arnold's not going to change stuff around like in September.
Yeah.
I mean, he'll have a whole off season and listen, if Jackson Arnold is starting week 1, chances are we're in trouble. I love Jackson Arnold. I hope he does great things, but I don't expect a true freshman to come in and just do what Caleb did.
Knock on wood.
Even Caleb, as great as he is, had his he had his moments where he sucked, his stretches where it's like, dude, he's a true freshman. That makes sense.
I don't want to say it, but it's kind of true.
And you saw what he saw what he did this year. It's like, oh look, this is what year 2 looks like.
It looked exactly like year 1. That's the issue I have with Caleb.
He carried that team. I watched a lot of USC football this year.
No, and he did, but he didn't grow. It looked exactly the same as last year. It didn't look.
No, but
he didn't look like a sophomore player.
Yes, he did because he had more talent at OU the year before. Now, if you want to talk about Jordan Addison or whatever and stuff, fine or whatever.
Yeah, I'm referring to it all as kind of like a lump sum.
No, he had a better O line and D line last year too. But I'm talking about it all evens out at the end of the day. I will defend Caleb Williams that he carried USC, and if it wasn't for him, they're not even in position to make the playoff. So
right.
Yeah. His problem is he struggles as a pocket passer because there's not a pocket half the time.
Right. It collapsed.
Have you watched the USC offensive line against a real team? It collapses very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just look at look at both Utah games. It's not pretty.
The thing that comes down to it with Williams was he was fantastic with his legs. That's what it comes down to.
No,
Otherwise,
dude could throw. No, he could throw.
Even when he hurt his hamstring or whatever in the Pac-12 champ game, he still made some solid throws.
Yeah, he made some plays, but he was just too hurt. And listen, again, people voted the way they did. Fine, I'm not gonna. It is what it is. Like there wasn't a run of they didn't just give it to the best player on the best team this year. For those who are complaining about that shit, like every year, people they're trying to be like they're new. Is the Heisman lost its? Like everyone gets pissed off about it's the best player and the best team. Yeah, because usually the best player and the best team is the reason why they're the best team.
Right.
Stop using logic.
Whoa!
Stop using logic. Nobody likes it.
I can't wait. It's just the best player, the best team. Why are they the best team? Because they have the best. Galaxy brain. I mean, honestly, the only people are mad that Hendon Hooker didn't get an invite, which was really a slap in the face to him.
I absolutely agree. He should
have gotten an invite. There's this we can't invite 5 guys. Fuck you. Every year I hear we can't. You did it before. You've done it the year I talked about in 04, there were 5 guys.
Yeah,
it was Jason White, Adrian Peterson, Matt Leonard, Reggie Bush, and who the fuck else was there? I can't even remember who it was. I'm pretty sure there was 5 guys. Not the burger. I'm not even talking about the burger joint. I'm talking about there was 5 guys there. But anyway, the point of the matter is, some years 3, some years 4. You have to hit a certain point threshold to get invited, and it's the fact that Hendon Hooker wasn't invited was stupid. But
yeah,
I mean, the one guy I would consider, Bryce Young, defending Heisman Trophy winner, was really damn good, carried Bama. So, and came up literally lost or only 2 games on one play. Bryce Young could have gotten, you could have argued, but again, it's everyone's how come we don't? They want to diversify the awards, why can't we give it to because there was the push for Will Anderson last year. Will Anderson should get it. Well, Will Anderson was a preseason favorite, and he didn't make.
He threw up on himself.
No, he didn't make the plays. I'm sure he's good, and he'll still get drafted high. I'm sure.
No,
he didn't make the plays.
Yeah, if Will Anderson had last year's season this year, you can talk about.
If he had last year's season this year, the Alabama's in the playoff.
That's true.
Right.
So. If you want to talk about Bowers, the tight end for Georgia, I mean, I don't think he's the best player, but he's really good.
Well, and that's the thing. I always thought if they really need to pick someone that wasn't Caleb or Max, and I'm not saying this unironically. I think they should have just gone with Stetson Bennett just because whether he's the best player or not on the field, he was an on the field leader with it that did direct the team. And that to me is
Stetson Bennett got invited because he's
on Georgia.
He got invited and he makes plays. He didn't win it, so it's not like it was one of those just the quarterback on the quarterback of the best team always it's a quarterback award. Yeah, quarterbacks tend to be very important. If a running back the year Baker won it, it was he's on the Giants now. Freaking Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that article that dude in the Midwest wrote where he was literally crying over the fact that Saquon wasn't going to win the Heisman.
Oh, I think I remember us talking about that where it was he was just
I did a dramatic reading of it where I cried and I had to stop and compose myself when I was doing the pod with Joe, and it was just so sad that the amazing plays he made against Indiana. It was so good. Saquon
will never be recognized.
And eventually the Heisman. Baker Mayfield went to Columbus and won, dude. without it. Before Hollywood Brown became a thing, he went into Columbus and won a game with a rookie head coach. It's like, okay. It's like, all right, like you cry about Saquon, that's fine. Like,
Yeah,
like JT Barrett helped Baker out a lot that day. JT Barrett like led the comeback against Penn State. It's like, thank you, JT.
yeah.
You just validated Baker's Heisman by like beating down by coming back and beating Penn State. Appreciate it,
Yeah.
dude.
It's a quarterback award. Side note, I was texted it right now. There's Mississippi State 247 is reporting like shit ain't good with Mike. Like it's pretty bad. For it. They're not saying what happened with it, but they're saying shit in the
You're
fan.
saying be prepared to wake up tomorrow morning to bad news, is what they're telling us.
I
Maybe.
think that's what they're inferring.
Jeez.
What they're not reporting what it is because they said that's the privacy to the family and to coach.
Well, obviously,
and all that, but they're saying
there are
based
HIPAA
on-
laws and whatnot, but
Well, no, that's not a HIPAA law.
oh, you're right. You're right. To be fair, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. It's just respect for it, but they're saying it's serious enough where shit may be true with it by tomorrow morning on it. Hopefully not. Hopefully with it, but they're
Well,
saying
if he
he's still
survives
fighting,
the
but shit
night,
is-
if he can survive the night, then that's a good
Yeah.
sign. But
yeah, according to Robbie Falk, who's out of Mississippi State 247, his exact quote was, "Mike Leach needs a miracle, folks. Continue to pray." That ain't good. So,
well,
but I mean, it's a bummer. Yep. But we'll see. I mean, that's going to be one of the big ones. So,
well, he'll have went out a winner in the Egg Bowl at least. So, if that happens, so hopefully it's not. But
yeah.
Speaking of bowls,
Cheese It, the cheesiest. They start this week, and Sooner Cowboys, I think, will win another Heisman before we get Natty number 8. There's some stuff we got to fix.
well, I'm not worried about a
lines and
Heisman.
stuff.
I'm not worried about a Heisman right now. I'm worried about like winning 10 games next year. That'd be really cool.
Well, you reminded me. I'm glad you did. So, on the transfer portal, how much are you? I think it was a hit for us that Josh decided to declare his transfer. I think outside of like
Who?
maybe what's his face Josh Ellison on the line.
Oh, I mean, yeah, a little bit. But...
do you think that hurt us on it? Because it looks like
sure, but like most of the
names
in the portal are dudes who never did shit. Like,
right.
Like, oh no, Bray Walker left. Finally, I mean, I thought you could have fooled me. I thought he left 2 years ago.
Yeah,
Bray
and some
Walker's
of it was too was like it was guys that we were expecting to
Joseph
Wette,
like Cavante Henry. It's like, all right, Cavante. Like some guys don't work out, or they figure out it's not for this is not for them here. Good,
right?
Don't waste your time here. If there are dudes there are dudes that are going to be in every recruiting class every year where it's like, yeah, he's going to be a project. Okay, we'll see if he lasts a year. If he lasts a year, great. If not, well. But I don't know. But we'll feel again. There'll be some stuff worked out over time. Just gotta be patient. I don't know. I don't know what else to say on the portal right now other than just it's there. It's open.
Exists.
Right. I was just thinking about that with Josh. Like really, outside of him and Theo Weiss, a lot compared to other teams. Most of our guys are guys who weren't contributors or were just sitting on the bench type of deal. Like it's more of a
we got like what 16. I mean, Jackson Sumlin's entering the portal. All right, later.
Yeah.
Peace out. Don't worry, you can be replaced. I'm sure we could find more guys who will can do nothing but sit on the bench and just be practice dummies.
Yeah.
So
I counted 18 were the ones with it, but really when you look at who actually contributed, Bryce Washington.
Washington didn't do shit. My God.
I'm talking just you're right. It's really Ellison.
Here's what I'll give you. I'll give you Theo, Joshua Eaton to an extent.
Trayvon West.
Brian Darby scored a touchdown once, so sure Trey West kind of made a catch a couple. So most of these names, it's like someone's like, we lost Alton Tarbur. It's like, all right, I don't want to lose Alton Tarbur, but we have to go.
I know who you're really upset about. I genuinely know who you're upset.
Oh
about.
yeah, Ralph Rucker. I'm like devastated.
That's what I was gonna say. I know you're just torn up about Ralph.
Yeah, he's more competitive at the quarterback position than Nick Evers.
You know the one I am surprised that has not said anything, and I have a gut feeling that he was told he needs more tape. Is Mims. I'm actually surprised that he has not come out and said.
I don't know, like the dude's got until like mid-January to make a decision, so I'm not gonna like a lot of guys who can go pro have already declared. So it is kind of surprising that anyone worth a damn on a 6-6 team who hasn't declared by now is kind of like, so.
Well, yeah, I'm just out of. He was the best player. Like, I'm just. Surprised.
It would be very, very good if Mims came back next year. It would.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm not going to get my hopes up, but if he decides to come back and he says I'm coming back, great.
I fully expect him to play in the bowl game.
Well, yeah. I mean, unless the only person who's not playing the bowl game that I know of, I think is Wanya Morris. I think Gray's not playing. I don't think Anton Harrison's not playing. So, which is going to be again. This is what I was trying to get to with the bowl games. People are like, "Oh, we're going to get killed." Why? It doesn't matter. Like these bowl games don't matter. Like, so win or lose, it's like I'm not. If I can get a media pass or free tickets from Elo, I'll go just to say I went. But if not, I'll be like, all right, here we are for this bowl game that doesn't matter. And people are, and like even the Josh Pates of the world are starting to come around because like, or there's these people who get like, oh, you're quitting on your team. It's like, shut the fuck up. Like,
no,
like, stop getting worked. Stop getting worked up over these 40 bowl games, or like 38 of them don't matter. God,
wait. But see,
oh my God, they're not playing in the Tease-It Bowl or the First Responders Bowl. Like, what fucking emotional attachment do you have to this shit?
Hear me out, Sean.
It makes some money. Money? I don't know.
Money!
Yeah,
the
money.
Pyramid scheme.
No, don't get me fucking started on bowl games. Every fucking year I have to have this conversation with people. It's like, you do realize schools all lose money. They all at the end of the day, when you tally up how much you spent to go to this game and how much you made off of it, it's usually in the red. You are losing money going to these bowl games.
Correct. And it's
most of them you don't, and even if you make money, it's like not that much. Like, I go back to like when they did a FOIFA or whatever, Freedom of Information, a FOIA act, like for the bowl games like 12 years ago.
UConn. Yeah.
We played UConn. Oklahoma made a net profit of like $9,000 for beating UConn in a half-empty Fiesta Bowl, Glendale, Arizona Stadium, or whatever.
And UConn lost something upwards. I think it was I forgot the number, but it was like 4 million or 11 million. They lost a lot of money.
Yeah, so
but they were forced to go.
But the tradition of the bowl games, it's like, dude, they were having like a week or so ago, like. There's casual conversations about, maybe like, in the quarterfinals of this new playoff, on-site playoff games for the quarterfinals would be kind of neat now that I think about it.
Unless you're Barry Trample. Unless you're Barry Trample.
They're starting to realize it. Like, the light bulb is shimmering a little bit as it's trying to click on that you don't need to outsource your postseason anymore.
Except if you're Barry Trammell, Sean, who whines and cries and says, well, I think the quarterfinals should still be bowl games because that's just a disservice to the fans. What are you talking about, Barry?
No, like, because people watch these games. Okay, here's what's going to happen in a couple of years, and people are going to start to realize this. It's people will say it because bowl games start like the 19th of December, give or take a day or two, right?
Yeah.
You know when the college football playoff is going to start getting going?
Around
the 19th, 20th, 21st of December. So guess what? That content you're all screaming about for football is going to start around. It's going to start around the same time, and those games are going to matter.
Correct.
So again, you're talking about, oh, what about our mid-December content? It's like, that's what it'll be replaced with. You'll actually watch games you give a shit about. Like, I've lost track how many times where it's like, I remember going out to dinner when I visit home for Christmas some years. We'd be having dinner at like a restaurant or something, and they would have a TV. I'd be watching Nebraska playing the Holiday Bowl or something. I'm just like, I'm paying attention to it like it's important. I'm like, this is really that important, is it? It's like, I went back to talk to my family about whatever.
It's background. And, I've said it many times before, and I'll continue saying.
And instead of having background game, you could have games that are actually important that you plan your Christmas time around.
Correct. Now, I still say that I really wish the semis were still a home-and-home game. That's me, though.
I screamed about that years ago. I wish, like, when it was just a 4-team, I said, why can't the semis be at home sides? But that was never going to happen.
No.
So it was a pipe dream.
We got the quarterfinals out of it. Dad's curious if.
Well, no, we have the first. No, the first round's going to be home. Not the quarterfinals are going to be bowls.
Right,
Yeah.
right. You're right.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a sec. No, you're right. And my dad was wondering that of how that's going to work with packages. I'm like, probably, Dad, you'll get an advanced pre-sale, but it's not going to be included in your season for it if we happen to be able to host or something. If it's going to be like that, I don't know. I'm like, that's going to be on a per case basis, but I'm highly doubting it's going to be part of your season ticket package. But I still hold the firm belief, and it's the same thing, and it ranks up there in my top 5 games. I'm glad I did the Sugar Bowl with Bama and OU in 14 when I did.
Well, yeah, but guess what?
Still when it mattered.
Yeah, well, yeah, it still mattered back then to an extent because there was only one, like, get voted into the championship game. You didn't get voted in, okay. And Bama people were playing that didn't matter card shit back then after they lost, even though they were we're going to prove that we're, like, I got to hear AJ McCarron before the game say, we're going to go out there and prove that we should be in that game and we're the number 1 team in the country, and then get your ass beat. So, it's one thing. Hey, if you're consistent with it, great. When the whole it doesn't matter thing, be consistent with that. Now, obviously, their football players aren't going to say that.
No.
I'm talking about outside entities who just assume they're going to win no matter. But if you're going to play the it doesn't matter card with the Bulls, be consistent with it. All right,
correct.
I knew like the reason why we got an expansion, why this thing really got going. It's like, kids are opting out of the New Year's 6 games.
6
now.
bowls, yeah.
That Cotton Bowl between Florida and Oklahoma, that should have been a great game to watch with like all the top tier players. Most of Florida's offense opted out, and like poor dude, like God, what was Florida's QB's name? I forget his name. All of a sudden.
He got just ran over.
He had no one to throw to but like freaking third stringers, and so you just destroyed him because we had Ronnie Perkins back, who was all pissed off, and Ramondre Stevenson back, and because they got suspended for bullshit, and it was Trask, and he had no one to throw to. He didn't have his NFL tight end to throw to, like it was like Pitts or whatever. He had no one, and that
would have been a great game.
It was fun to watch. It was Riley finally won a bowl game finally, I guess, in COVID year. So, but again, it's just everyone's like the sanctity of the bowls. Most of these bowl games didn't exist 10 years ago. That like everyone's talking about.
You're talking about that. You're telling me the historic Fenway Bowl doesn't matter?
It doesn't.
The Idaho Potato Bowl, Sean.
No one gives. and like, because like you go back to 1985 or whatever, there's like 15 bowl games, so you could argue, it actually matters if you get invited to one. No, it's
Sean. It's what you said before. Is the bowls are a literal circle jerk reason for them, basically for people to get sponsored and pass.
If you're gonna go to these bowl games, I remember I went down the list one time a couple of years ago. It's like, okay, let's go to the list of these bowl games. Is this a place I would like to go on vacation in the month of December?
You're telling me you do not want to go to Frisco, Texas.
I do not want to go to Frisco, Texas. Birmingham,
Alabama.
I don't want to go to Boston or New York in the fucking winter.
You're telling me, Sean, you don't want to go to Shreveport, America's truck stop.
Sean, it's in a baseball stadium.
I don't fucking care.
Football in a baseball stadium. Think about that.
And if it
your
doesn't work
mind
out,
is
they just play one
blown.
direction.
Take your baseball and shove it up your ass.
Yeah, okay. Dumb question. I have a legit. Well, maybe not. But yeah. By the way, Sean, Dad, I was telling him about like you potentially getting tickets to go to the OU game for it, and you were like looking at price for like maybe they're like 75 to 100. He's like, that's a pretty good deal. I'm like, no, Dad, that's a horrible deal. That's too expensive for that ticket. That ticket's like $25 max.
Anyway,
That's gonna be a
no, but like there are bowl games. Like if you're gonna create, like someone created a new like the Bahamas Bowl, that's brilliant because there were Texas Tech fans on Twitter getting pissed that OU got to go to the Cheez-It Bowl and not them because they thought they should have gone.
They were legitimately pissed.
So you guys are pissed off that you're not going to the what's the word, like the illustrious Cheez-It Bowl. And it's like they were mad because we would go to Orlando and go to Disney World and this and that. It's like, I don't know if is the Cheez-It Bowl going to sponsor a trip to Disney World? I mean, I don't know if it's one of the
wish upon a star.
That's more like a Citrus Bowl type of package, if you ask me. Like, you see, and I always tell people about Orlando because I live here. There's two Orlandos. There's South Orlando, where all the theme parks are, and then there's downtown Orlando. Your bowl game takes place in downtown Orlando.
And quoting Swiggy from last week, that's not Orlando.
You're going to be you're going to be driving by Orange Blossom Trail and try to get your ass on Sand Lake Road so you can get over to iDrive and get the fuck away from the hookers and like the junkies that like wander the streets there at night. I've driven down OBT at night. It is not a friendly place. So
okay, here's a question for you, Sean, and here's a question for you, Andrew. Outside of the New Year's Six, because that's been said and done. If you could have any game where it would mean something, is there any bowl game like the Bahamas Bowl?
The Las Vegas Bowl sounds like a great idea. I'm glad someone came up with it. Especially they have a new stadium. Like, if you're gonna go to a bowl game that doesn't matter, send me to I understand.
Like the Hawaii Bowl.
Yeah. If you're gonna go, like, I understand why the Tech fans are mad because we go to Disney World. The players go to Disney World. It's like, I don't know. Like, ask the players, they give a shit. It's like,
I mean, some bowls, New Orleans Bowl, New Orleans is fun.
You know why the Cheez-It Bowl picked Oklahoma? Because they were available and they were gonna draw.
Yeah, and they're a name brand. That's the thing, and I've told this to many people before. I had some coworkers who didn't understand. I'm like, guys, OU's a name brand. The fans travel. They're good. If they go, they're going to Disney World. That's why they're going. They're not going for the game. It's the game's secondary. But Disney World, that's why they're going.
They're pissed because there's a new Guardians of the Galaxy ride at Epcot, and everyone wants to ride it. So
I know, right?
I mean,
you'll have to like wake up early and get on the app and your ticket queue and wait all day to get on the damn ride because that's how these new rides work in freaking Orlando. Oh my god, it is a miserable experience just to get on these rides nowadays that are new.
I mean,
it's just not worth it. It's just like wait a few years,
dude. It's not, dude. I had to wait. This is a couple of years back, but when the Avatar ride at Animal Kingdom,
yeah.
I went with a buddy of mine. He has passes, but he couldn't get me. He could get it like so. Well, if we're gonna do the Avatar ride, we just we have to like, grin and bear it through. They're like, well, how long? Like it was a 3-hour wait to get on that damn thing. It was a 3, and we literally just
WineCon.
It is the worst. Like I've been. For me, 90 minutes is like the long, oh my God, 90 minutes to get on this thing. No, man, it was like 3 hours. And thankfully I didn't have to use the bathroom or anything. I actually, I think there is I think maybe I did it once when we were still outside because there's the outside portion. Then you finally get into the inside portion with the line queue with all the gizmos and doodads and stuff you can see that like entertain you as you finally get in there. But man, it is like, because it's a giant freaking screen. But anyway, we're getting off topic. We're talking about theme park rides at this point.
I want to add to that too is it's ironic that I've gone to Comic-Cons and you've had the Shatners of the world, the Stanleys, and they were more efficient than the theme parks were. And I'm not trying to do a shot at Disney or anything. I'm sorry, Disney. I'm sorry, Universal,
Well,
but they were more efficient. They knew
not too many people are waiting in line to get TJ Hooker's autograph as compared to the Avatar ride. That's much more important to people. So
very, very disappointed on that. I'm just saying. But it's still efficiency. They knew how to get people in and out, get it done.
I mean, it's all
outside of the timer on the.
It's also a ride. It's also a ride. You like, there's a certain amount. Like, you can only fill stuff up so much. And if you have some kid who's
I would wait for 3 hours to get in line for Denny Crane as opposed to TJ Hooker.
Why is that?
That's the joke.
To be fair, you would go for the obscure anime people and not even go for an autograph. You would just be like,
no,
so I knew you were in this obscure anime.
No, because Denny Crane is also a William Shatner character.
Yeah.
From Boston Legal. You didn't know that.
I know about TJ Hooker.
It's amazing you know who TJ Hooker is and you don't know who Denny Crane is.
No, I don't.
Denny Crane.
So how long was Boston Legal on the air for?
5 seasons.
So see, this is me asking the important questions.
It's like 4 or 5. Right? It was like 4 or 5. It was like 4 or 5 seasons, I think.
It's just one of those shows that, like, I swear,
it's technically a spin-off of The Practice, which ran for 8 seasons. And the final season of The Practice had James Spader as Alan Shore. And he was such a popular character, and then Shatner came in at the end. And that's how Alan Shore joined Crane, Poole, and Schmidt at the end of The Practice. So The Practice was way more of a serious legal drama, and obviously Boston Legal is way more lighthearted. But I love The Practice. Great show back in the day.
I swear there's like a weird gap with some TV shows and between the late night. Like some stuff just you mentioned. I remember Boston Legal. I haven't thought of Boston Legal in ages.
Yeah, Boston Legal came in around 04. So it was during the Bush and Cheney era, and so there's a lot of Bush and Cheney jokes and whatnot, and so.
I still need. When you mentioned that, I still need to watch. I think it was like in early 2000s as well as The Wire. I need to watch.
Oh, The Wire's man. Wire's great.
Yeah, The Wire's like one of the. If you have HBO Max, you can watch it. Obviously, it's just like The Wire's just one of those shows that everyone like just says is great. Like, I've been meaning to watch Westworld, but I've been told just watch the first season and then stop because they just totally fuck it up afterwards. I'm like, okay. I'll watch it eventually.
What's the West Wing? I've been told I need to watch that one.
Do not watch the West Wing.
Really?
No, he should. No, he needs to watch the West Wing.
No, you don't. Don't watch the fucking West Wing.
Go back to how Aaron Sorkin thought politics worked in the 90s.
Fucking Aaron Sorkin. It's a bunch of fantasy and crap, and
exactly.
I dub it. It's fantasy crap. It's a bunch of bullshit.
It's political fan fiction. It's amazing.
It is.
Okay.
It is literally bad. Fucking political fan fiction where it's like.
Yeah, it's bad.
No.
Okay.
I like it. I mean, I still like it because it's bad, but
Okay, and no one's ever mentioned that it was bad. They said like if it was something like pretty close to like something like The Wire or something, it was that, but I've never watched The Wire, so I don't know.
Totally different stratospheres. Like The West Wing.
Listen,
fits into the
if you
ER.
watch, listen, if you watch,
the ER miracle,
if you go back and watch the West, if you go back and watch the West Wing now, based on the last like 6, 7, 8 years of the political dysfunction this country has gone through, you're gonna be like, oh fuck you.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Okay. That's exactly how you feel.
Oh, this is terrible, huh? Yeah, we could never survive this type of like scandal.
Gotcha.
Jeez.
It makes me. I'm going obscure on that. They're like, oh, it's like those times where the anime fans.
A president could never get away with saying, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, the West Wing has not aged well. It's no.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Sean, I'm giving you an obscure reference. It makes me think of like when it came out and they're like, oh, Cashier in Sins. It's so bad. It's just such a terrible watch because like it's such horrible horror. Yeah, wait till you watch Made in Abyss, guys. Like that's nothing. That's like Paw Patrol compared to Made in Abyss, guys. That's my connection.
Nobody understood a word that you just said.
I don't care. You understood what I was saying, so that's what matters. Andrew probably
I heard words and sentences.
Yeah, I heard word. Yeah. About to say,
Cashier
I know
and Sins,
those are words.
Made in Abyss. There you go. That's all you need.
That means nothing to me.
Come on, anime man. Like, I'm giving you animes here.
Listen, I watched some garbage from the 90s like a couple hours ago, but I never watched Cashier and Sins, so no.
Really? I thought you did one time, and I could have sworn. Then I'm having like a weird memory on that, because I could have sworn you said you watched it and you hated it, but it was what it was.
No.
So,
No, you're misremembering something.
I'm definitely misremembering at that point. So,
if I did, I was lying to you, but no. And I don't know why I would lie about telling you that I watched Cashier and Sins or whatever the hell.
I swear we talked about that, but maybe not.
Anyway. No, this went off the rails pretty quick.
I mean, hey.
But so back to bowl games don't matter.
Transfer.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I guess I go to the New Mexico.
Are the bowl games gonna die? I hope so.
I like Albuquerque. I'll go to Albuquerque, but
Albuquerque's nice. It's the nicest part of New Mexico.
I shouldn't have made the left turn at Albuquerque.
Well, so Las Vegas, obviously Hawaii. Is there anywhere else that you would consider like, okay, this is what we could do?
New Orleans is fun too.
The Holiday Bowl's cool because you go to San Diego. There's a lot of stuff. If there's shit to do there and it's a place you would want to go to on a vacation of any kind, yeah. But like, no one wants to go to Detroit.
Then what's the worst one then?
Birmingham's terrible. No one should ever go to fucking Birmingham, Alabama. Good Lord, that's a shithole.
I mean, Frisco is bad.
You're kind of close to Dallas, so
but it's DFW.
Dallas is okay. Again, is there a beach? If you have a beach, you're automatically a good bowl game.
Does Jacksonville have a beach?
Technically, yes. So.
Technically, okay. Well, then I get.
Technically.
Okay, I didn't know. So
technically.
I mean, I don't know. I guess. Let me see here. Maybe probably the Idaho Potato Bowl, because what is there to do in Boise?
Yeah, let's go to fucking Boise. Fuck me.
Y'all always insult the Idaho Potato Bowl and not ever.
Because there's nothing to do in Boise.
Most of these bowl games are for like the G5 teams. Like, let's do bowl games. Like, you guys could have gotten ahead of the curve and have your own playoff if you wanted to. But no, you wanted to be part of the FBS. You wanted to do it. You wanted to go to a bowl game.
They lack vision. They lack vision.
Well, we got to have the extra 2 weeks of practice, which are valuable. I know.
Well, and I've asked you that before. Why don't they just let them have the practice? It makes no sense to punish teams for that. Just give everybody the practice.
Just practice. Just do drills or whatever the fuck. Just do workouts.
Right, and like I said, that's something that's always baffled me. Like, why
we get the extra weeks?
They gatekeep practices. It's practice, guys. Like, nobody's winning anything with extra.
Like the only thing I care about with these bowl games is that if OU play, is Brent going to play some of the red shirts? And
I mean, he's going to be forced to, won't he?
I mean, yeah, we're going to have to see Jacob Sexton play left tackle probably, or whatnot, or whomever is going to be there. So you're going to see more Javante Barnes play. You're going to, I don't know, Kobe McKenzie got like they had like the banquet and they gave awards, and like Kobe McKenzie, like who's redshirting this year, he got like an award for like future, impact player on defense, which I don't know. That sounds like a cool deal to me. Kobe McKenzie was a highly touted guy, and a lot of people were screaming about these freshman linebackers not playing much. And I'm like, you guys do realize that Brent's system is not built for true freshmen.
Right.
He needs to develop these guys first before you just throw them out to the Lions and just guess what they're going to do.
No. If they're highly rated, they're supposed to be good immediately.
No, that was always the downside of Brent. It's like, true freshman linebacker coming in is gonna need a minute to learn this deal. So, but
And because otherwise we'll be overwhelmed. It's what you've said before.
Like, why isn't Kennick playing more? Dude, they have little packages for him. Just chill. Like he'll like Kennick's gonna be out there. Kenzie's gonna be out there. So we have 70 cheetahs apparently, according to.
I just don't understand the cheetah position. I don't, but
everyone's gonna play cheetah. McCullough's gonna play cheetah.
Everyone's a cheetah.
Everyone's a cheetah who's not like a defined safety or linebacker. If you're not a safety, you're not a linebacker, you're a cheetah. Roy Williams is a cheetah.
Speaking of Roy Williams, hey, he made it into the College Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, they had the ceremony and shit, everything, and
hooray!
It's cool. Where's his statue of like leaping over Chris Sims? I would build a statue of Roy Williams like making that play. And I would have it not on campus. I would have it at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas.
Right.
And I would have a statue of him leaping, and you would have to have Chris Sims there with the football, like about to be knocked out of his hand, because you have to have both parties there in order for it to make sense.
Right.
And I would have a button. I would have it like, you know, I would have like a little circular kind of like a guard railing around it. What? I'm serious.
No, I'm just chuckling at the. I'm imagining this already. It's like big text where you're able to like.
Hang on, but this is serious. I would have like a circular guardrail around it, and then you put your photo ops and everything, and I would make money off of this thing. So you go over there, you put a quarter into the slot, and you can push a button, and two things happens. One, you hear the play-by-play from Brent Musburger. Chris Sims of the Longhorns, and then you hear it. And I would put a mechanism in Chris Sims' crotch area where liquid would start to dissipate down his legs as you hear the recording. As he pisses himself, seeing Roy Williams leaping in the air and knocking the ball out of his hands into Teddy Lehman's hands to score a touchdown. So that's what I would do. That's my idea. So you can make it a fountain.
That's the kind of bold new thinking we need.
Yeah. Make it it's a memorial, like when
it's a memorial,
a memorial fountain. Like he's not dead yet. Just call it whatever you want. Like memorial. Just piss it down.
It's a memorial to Chris Sims' Longhorn career.
Yeah.
There you go. He's not dead yet, but there you go. I mean, what? Here's my dumb question for you, Sean and Andrew. Outside of Roy Williams, what other statue would OU need at this point on campus for like football?
Am I the only one who thinks Am I the only one who think the Selman statues are cursed? Because ever since they put the statues up, we've had a shitty season.
Small sample size. Need to see more.
That is true, but it's like the moment they put them they revealed those damn statues, and they all of a sudden it's like something's not right. We lost to K-State that night, and shit was all downhill from there. It's like
maybe we need to relocate them. We need to rechristen them somewhere else. Just pack it up, guys. I don't know. I mean, I was really sad that we lost that game because of the statues. Like, this is a great day to celebrate defense. And then no defense showed up.
Yeah, that's why they're cursed. No defense. We should have put the statues in the game. They would have made it some plays.
I mean, that was
just roll them out there.
The best defense all day was the statues being unveiled.
They would have they would have come to life and just like squatted down, and I'm sure they would have had a weight advantage.
Of course,
a leverage and weight advantage.
I mean, them just standing there the entire game all day would have been perfect too. Just saying. But yeah, I don't have anything else for tonight, guys. Like we transfer and recruiting has been pretty quiet on it. Oh, one more thing. Baker won against what's their name? Can't think of
the Raiders.
Yeah, it's when ironically him going to the Raiders him going to the Rams might be a step down because somehow, some way, the Panthers can still win the NFC South.
That's true.
I mean, the NFC South is a complete and utter garbage, and
Yeah.
no one from that
That is
division
also
should go,
true.
no one from that division should probably be in the playoffs. But we have these
Brock-
rules.
Brock Purdy ripped up the Buccaneers today.
The Dallas
Purdy.
the Dallas Cowboys are 10-3, but they're a wild card team because the leader of the division of the NFC South technically can be no lower than fourth. So that's where we're at right now. Dallas Cowboys are 10-3, one of the hottest teams of the league, with a monumental comeback win against the gigantic, the Colossus that was the Houston Texans.
All 1-11 of them.
Hey, excuse me, 1-11-1.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
They tied the
it
game
right.
once.
Will
So
fun question. Will the Texans fire their coach?
Yes.
probably, sure.
But
Today
that is the question.
Today was not fun to watch that game until
Probably
the very
not.
end.
Well, probably not. I don't know if they will. I don't know if the Texans will, because for reasons.
Anyway, I get to watch Dallas go on the road and play Jacksonville next week. So again,
Nice.
I don't have to work regional broadcast for me here in Orlando. I had to watch the game creatively today up until middle of the third quarter because the Eagles were beating the Giants so convincingly. They just switched over that game over to the Cowboys game. So I just like, I could turn off my creative way to watch the Cowboys game.
By the way, fantastic for Jalen. I mean, damn.
Jalen's been doing good, man. Like,
he's wearing that putrid Eagles uniform, so I fucking hate him.
I know, but man,
that kind of applies to Lane Johnson too. So
apparently, the GM having just the right amount of no faith in Carson Wentz worked out for him.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Carson Wentz was the thing. Yeah.
But remember too, like Sean, you and I said a couple years ago, Jalen is gonna have problems in the NFL. I mean, I eat my crow on that. Like, he's doing great. Like, good for Jalen. I'm glad that he stepped up his passing game and he is a good quarterback. Like, good for him. Well, for Dallas, Sean, if they're the wild card and stuff, like, that's a weird world to say. Like, they got left. I know they have Philly left, and I know they have Washington. Is there anybody on Dallas' schedule that you're outside of Philly probably like they can probably win out at this point?
They only got 4 games left, and Philly's the biggest game. I mean, the Titans are on it. They got to play the Titans, and they're technically leading the South, the AFC South.
Then it's the Commanders, because I knew they had to play the Commanders again. Philly, the Titans.
I mean, that's the last game of the year, and that's on the road, and that game may not be consequential at all. It all depends. I mean, it is a division game, but the NFL did this years ago where they started putting division games at the end of the season because they were running, because like bowl games, they're running to the problem of the last week or two where certain teams were resting starters because they weren't opting out. Like,
resting starters. Yeah,
opting out. Fuck that. Dude, we're paying you a salary. You're paying you millions of dollars. You play.
Well, that's the funny part. That's like basketball, where people are getting pissed where they're going to withhold players on certain stuff with it when they're like, we're paying big money tickets to come see these guys.
Basketball has many problems.
The Spurs were pioneers in that department. So,
well, basketball has many problems. Mostly,
my team sucks. That's my problem with basketball.
That's your problem, yeah. Well, the problem is
Magic suck.
Basketball
we have an exciting young player who got drafted number 1, but we still suck.
Hey, so is Oklahoma City.
If basketball cut 5 games, it would make a world of difference for that. But
no,
they're not going to cut 5 games.
Cutting 5 games would do nothing. It's just
they would do the same thing.
Let's add the tournament. Let's add a tournament that no one's going to care about because English soccer has in-season tournaments.
No, let's add like the whole thing where before the season ends, and let's have I hate it so much. It's like, just if you can't be the top 8 team in a conference after 82 games. I don't know. Don't do
Yeah.
this like bullshit at the end. I hate it
No,
so much.
I know.
You know, I mean, Sean, you mentioned it last week. Speaking of that with soccer, I'm really glad the U.S. lost, so I don't have to have people freaking out on something that they don't care about. I so agree. It was just every time, like, y'all don't talk about it. Why are you excited about it
It
now?
was interfering with actual football.
Nationalism. That is, root for the USA colors or else.
Woo!
Well,
You suck at soccer.
I like soccer. I like the World Cup, but
No, don't get me wrong. I can go enjoy soccer, but
listen, like, no one's going to sit here and deny that sports in general is corrupt, like lots of things in the world. But the most corrupt of all is like it's a competition between FIFA and the Olympic Committee.
Yeah,
like they're awful.
Yeah,
and FIFA consistently wins because I don't even think not even the Olympic Committee.
Did you know that FIFA made like this self-masturbatory film about
yes,
how FIFA came?
Yes, I've seen that.
It is so fucking just like such a circle jerk, and it's not even. It's like when EA made like Head Coach the game. Like no one gives a fuck, dude.
No one cared.
No one gives a fuck. Like that game was so bad. Like if you bought the special edition of Madden that year, they just gave it to you for free. Here, have Head Coach.
And I remember that I was working GameStop at that point, and they had pre-order like if you do the special edition for Head Coach, like it would be great.
No, you special edition for Madden. The special edition for Madden.
Right. And
here's Head Coach for free.
Well, they were initially charging it. And then no one bought into it. And then they finally relented, like, we're just going to give it to you free. And then no one played it anyway because it sucked.
It's like
no one wanted this.
Well, it's like, do you want to be like Football Manager? Because those are real games they play in like various countries. Like they have like soccer manager games.
Yeah.
Where you manage your team. And
I got the idea. And I think I got the idea and why
I want to control the quarterback and throw the ball and like control the running back and control the receiver and control D linemen and linebackers and safeties and corners.
I want to play the game.
No, I want to be Ted Lasso. That's who I want to be.
But
Ted Lasso before Ted Lasso.
No, you want to be who? Oh god, what was his name? The guy who betrayed him at the end of season 2.
Nate.
Nate, yeah. So you want to be Nate?
Yeah, I'm gonna be Nate. I want to backstab my head coach. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
There you go.
You start the game by like just like ripping into him, and then your hair turns all gray. And when is that third season, like that final season, happening? Is it soon, right?
It should be. It should be soon. I know they were filming it a little while ago. I know COVID and everything slowed it down, but
yeah.
I'm just I know it's like I'm glad they're wrapping it up because it's like all you need is really one more, or else it's up for staying its welcome.
Yeah, and that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Shows can end when they end.
I jumped on that show late in the process at a good time because the first season happened already, and I watched it. And then the second season was like in the middle of it, so I was like, okay, good. I could get I literally was able to watch it all with like a free Apple TV trial. I didn't have to pay for it. But like,
why are you and I the same person when it comes to stuff like this?
It's
it's not worth paying for. It's just
It's fun. It's fine. If you want to, it's not worth Apple TV Plus really, but
there was like a great joke. There was like a very subtle joke that I love. I love little jokes like where Ted Lasso, he's just randomly in the owner's office. He's like, "You spelled favorite wrong." It's just such a subtle joke, and because I get it. And it means this is so stupid, but that hits home for me a little bit more because there's some times where I'll watch things that are subtitled, and I know who wrote the subtitles because someone from the UK did these subtitles because there's added U's or there shouldn't be there for whatever reason. They're like, it's just yes. You spelled favorite wrong. It's just those little moments. It's like, yes, I'm so because I got 10 minutes into that show. I was like, I understand why everybody loves this. Okay, it's like I'm in. So, but like you spelled favorite wrong. It's such a subtle little joke that just cracks me up because it's just like those little things. Like, oh, I totally relate.
Is it more you relate in the sense of like the radio station and all that as well, type of deal,
No, nothing to do with that. It was just like
or just
little,
life in general?
just little lost in translation moments and things like that. So
Gotcha.
just like because I've had moments where I've read subtitles for things and it's like, oh, someone from the UK did these subtitles.
Gotcha. Well, I was thinking of it like The Office, where it's like you understand more if you're in that setting, and it makes you like for me.
I mean, there's a lot of sports things and broadcasting that I understand a lot more just for doing what I've done the past few years, and I have a better insight on how things work and in certain things. But it's like I'll I just like when I hear radio hosts like have like when their first segments are over 20 minutes, I personally lose my shit because I imagine the poor board op having to give him a hand signal, like if you break like a stick, like you take two hands like together, you try to make you're making a signal to break, you're telling them, dude, like we need to go because when you do like in radio, your first segment is a soft cut or a soft stop, meaning you can like stretch it out to a decent amount and then you decide when you want to go. The back end of that segment of like your half hour is a hard cut. You have to get out. You don't have a choice. It's a hard cut to the commercials. So I've had scary moments where a segment went like 23 minutes. And I'm like, oh my God. And I have to find out which commercials I can cut, and I have to go through the log because we got to make sure certain advertisers get in. You cut, and then you come back and your B segment can only be like less than a minute. Because then the music's gonna hit for the hard cut. It's like you don't have time to have another segment. And it's just like you try to go break, we gotta break. It's like they just like, and it's like it's your
and
job to, yeah, and it's like I've had a few moments like that before, and it's just like, oh my God, it's like, because once you get past like 15, it's like we probably need to break. So because it's just that's just how it's all set up. And
right, because you do have to get all your reads in, you gotta get all the sponsors in.
Yeah, well, because they have to do
yeah.
There's live reads, there's sometimes you got to come back early for a live sports update if there's games going on or whatever. But not the worst thing, but the other thing it's not for every show, but like I did a 4-hour radio show from like afternoon drive. The last hour was all pre-recorded. So part of it was like an interview that was recorded earlier in the day with somebody, like maybe earlier in the morning. And then the rest of it are segments that were done during the show that I'm board opping. And I have to edit those segments while I'm running the board of the show. And I have to get them into the system. I have to multitask and do that at the same time. You have no idea how stressful that is because you can't mess that up once.
Nope.
So, and then you have to make sure it's programmed correctly. There's that it runs automatically. And then usually you make the decision within the show which parts you're going to keep, and you have to sometimes it's on you which ones. Like if you did a fun college football segment, you'll replay. So like the last hour is always there's like some new content, and then it's like repeats from because it's a 4-hour show.
Right.
And I'm just like, there are some days where I just stay there to make sure it works, and there's some days where I'm pretty confident and I'll leave. But there's always and I always listen to the show driving home because if something and all of a sudden there's dead air for some reason, I'm like, oh shit. You know, like the meme where you turn on it's just like where you keep going, or then there's the off ramp where you swerve. That would be me. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah. See, you make me laugh. You're taking me stories back where Sooner
It's
Vision, I always
terrible.
remember the directors and stuff, and probably you could voice this. They hated overtime. They had plans for it, but they hated overtime because it was always
Well, you
free
need to
commercials
plan for
usually.
overtime.
Oh,
It's
they
a-
hated overtime. But
You have
that seemed like
you
it was a
have to
universal
plan for
thing.
overtime because it happens sometimes.
It wasn't that they didn't plan for it. This was basically free commercials outside of their obligation. So it's like we have to show something, but we don't get any money out of it or anything like that. At least at that time. They may have renegotiated at that point, but that was mirrored a whole lot. They hated extra baseball. That drove them up the wall for it. Because they're like, at some point we're hoping for the best. Which one do we do? So but yeah, guys, let's wrap up, guys. I want to thank you all for coming on tonight. Everybody, I hope everyone has a wonderful December so far. Be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell so you know when we go live. Cheez-It Bowl's happening in a couple weeks, so we'll be getting some preview stuff as well as just kind of recapping the season here soon of where we thought was okay, what needs improvement, what we look forward to probably in 2023 at this point. And as usual, something I've added at the end, guys, is obviously if you need help or anything and you need like assistance, call 988, guys. People want you here. They don't, there's better answers than the alternative for it. So again, 988. So guys, Boomer Sooners, there's only one, and I'll speak to y'all and talk to y'all next Sunday. Later.